Yo, 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 you know what it is. It's your boy Snow, man. 3 points, baby. You know what it is. Conversion. Let's get it.
All right, hey, AD, this game, like, what do you take out of it, given the guys that are around, given where you're at? What are the things you were looking for, and how do you think you played?
Just trying to get back to a rhythm. I think all of us need Mel's first game. And as those guys are coming back, Brian, Russ, those schemes and the way we play is gonna change again. So we get used to them as well. But this game really just me and Mel trying to find a rhythm. Towards the end, feel good. Obviously, just trying to get back into game shape. Get a little lung action up and down. I think all of us was, especially me and Mel. But we still got to do a better job on defense as a unit, talking, getting our schemes right. But that's what preseason is for, to work out the game.
For the most part, last year you played against Aiden when you were at the 4. We probably talked about this stuff too much to the degree that it matters. But what did you notice tonight playing at the 5? How was that important in this matchup?
Honestly, I wasn't even worried about the matchup. I was more so worried about us as a team, what we can do and what we can look for offensively and defensively. He's a hell of a player, but I wasn't worried about him or what the Phoenix Suns were doing.
How do you feel physically at this point, given your off-season regimen? Maybe look putting some strength on as you now get how many days? Until the preseason or the season opener?
I feel good. Usually against to find that rhythm again. Like I said, get back to the game shape. Get my legs back on. But overall, I think I feel good. One game at a time, one day at a time.
AD, what do you think of the early start and obviously playing on the WNBA court? And will any of you guys check out the game tonight?
I think the early start wasn't so good. They had 2 early starts now. So WNBA court didn't even think about it. To be honest, and yeah, we're gonna check the game out tonight as a team. It's always good to support the WNBA and what they do. And we're here, we have nothing to do. So I'll go check out a playoff game. They win, I think it was the finals. Right? Yeah. So it'll be a very interesting game against another great team.
Did you notice Brittany Griner behind you guys, man?
Yeah. Very tall. Hard to miss. So, that's pretty cool. I mean, it was surprising to us. I don't know, I should mentally going to conference final game. Have be ready, but
right.
someone who's going to dominate for caliber he's probably prepared in my
This is a second straight game. You guys been out rebounded by a pretty significant margin. Obviously, you have a lot of rebounds sitting on the bench today, but is that something that's of any concern?
I think we just got to box out. When I was in the game at the 5, and I think our next tallest guy was in the league, K-Nun, Doe, and Taylor. So when we have lineups like that, when we go small, we got to be able to box out, hit guys, and sandwich rebound. And we have not been doing that, which this leads to a lot of offensive rebounds at the chance point. So we just got to be able to hit guys and know that if we're small, we got to we just can't stare at the rim and see where the ball goes. We got to front of our bodies.
What was it like having Carmelo out there for the first time? You guys have been in practice. Did it feel different having him out there in that lineup? You guys?
Yeah, it felt good though. But me and him working together, trying to figure out what we do on both ends of the floor. So a little hesitation, both of us trying. We never played with each other before, so we're trying to figure that out. But we're constantly talking to each other. We got the bench talking to us, and the more we communicate what we want to do, the easier it be as the season progresses.
We were bringing the ball up a little bit at the beginning of the game and kind of running DHOs and different stuff. I feel like that's something you might do a little bit more of this year, especially if you're playing with the second unit, not necessarily another ball handler out there.
If I get the rebound out and I'm pushing playing with pace, but if I get in, my guards are in front of me, I'll let it to them. They push. Just reading the floor of the game, but it's something that we looked at a lot in practice. Basically anybody besides DJ and the White bring the ball up and let's get into action. Just play with more pace. Instead of guard wait. They can fly and anybody else can bring it down. So it's something Coach wants to implement this season, and use the preseason to adjust to it and make it reads.
Do you know when you guys will have the full group? And then how many games out of 7 would be like ideal to play?
I have no idea. Those two knuckleheads over there, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm pretty sure they start playing soon. What game, I'm not sure. How many minutes, I'm not sure. But I know they're itching to play. Possibly next game or game after, I'm assuming, with only 6 games, we're already down 2. So I'm pretty sure they'll find a way to put in the rotation.
Thanks.
Yep.
Anthony
Thank you.
Marshall.
I'm mad. It's crazy. I thought about that.
A primary takeaway from this game, like something you were looking for that either didn't or did meet your expectation?
I just like to see us execute our habits better, on both sides of the ball, things that, we've been working on in practice that, our disciplines, on both sides of the ball have to get better. I wish they were further along than they were tonight, a little disappointed in that, but we'll get to work on that. It's good to see AD and Melo get out there and, learn each other a little bit. Obviously, it'll be even better when Ron and Russ are out there. But another step in the right direction of getting us where we want to go.
Your thoughts on AD, not just tonight, but essentially through these last 2 weeks?
Yeah, he's getting there. I like that he wanted to play a little bit in the third quarter. We were going to just play in the first half, and he just wanted to get a little more run. Just again, rhythm and timing. Get his legs under him, work on his body a lot in the off season. But it's different than competing in training camp and participating in practices and preseason games and all that. So. He took another step tonight.
Frank, how much more difficult is it to evaluate stuff without LeBron or Russ, just given the presence that they're going to have on both sides of the court?
Yeah, well, it's different, obviously with those guys out there, but it doesn't change what we're trying to do scheme wise, and system wise. So, some things that we have to do better, that we'll work on in practice tomorrow.
When are those guys going to play?
Haven't decided yet. But they will play some preseason games. But we haven't made that decision yet.
If you don't know when, do you know how many games?
At least 2. Somewhere between 2 and 4. Yeah.
How did you feel? Melo kind of moved around. How did he look physically, rhythm-wise?
Yeah, he moved well. He didn't have any space to go to work in the post because we didn't space appropriately. We haven't done a lot of post offense in our training camp. We're trying to open things up and play through movement more this year. So when he did get the ball down low, he didn't really have the proper space. We'll clean that up. But I thought he moved well.
Frank, you guys added Jay pretty late, relatively late in the process of building the roster. Presumably you didn't know a player of that caliber was available for that spot. Did that force you to have to look at the center position differently, having 2 players of White and DeAndre's caliber, as well as AD and your hopes to get him some time at center? Did it perhaps would you have been more inclined to commit to AD at center before DeAndre could be available and part of this team?
Not necessarily. I just think you look at what's available in the buyout market, and when he came available, it became clear to us that we had an opportunity to look a lot like we did 2 years ago. With elite shot blockers and lob threats, and but I don't think you really put together your plan of how much AD is going to play for a 5 and 3 your team's whole, and once you figure that out, then you make those decisions.
Speaking of AD at center, it seemed like he ran some point center today, kind of bring the ball up, initiating DHOs and stuff like that. He said you gave everybody kind of the green light to push the tempo, bring the ball up, unless it's White or DJ. What did you think of him sort of initiating?
Yeah, he did that a lot last year when LeBron was out, and we learned a lot just different options that we can go to when he brings the ball up. We want him to have the confidence to rebound and push. The biggest thing is that we want to play with pace and attack. So he has that confidence. He has a skill set to do so, and he actually did it more. When we did it last year, he was doing it more at the 4 position. He did it some at the 5, which gives us even more space. But obviously, a lot of areas.
For the second straight game, it seemed like kind of late that Chauncey Brown was able to shots. He was able to do some stuff physically. He looks sort of the part. What have you seen from him? And as you try to evaluate what to do with the second two-way spot, I would assume he's a candidate.
Yeah, he's making a case. He's performing well. Obviously, he's the perimeter shooting and the defensive physical toughness. To have success in this league. So he's off to a good start for us.
Do you think physically like that sort of he kind of projects as the type of wing defender that you like?
Yeah, he's tough. He has the mindset of blowing up screens and being really physical on the glass. So he's done a good job for us in camp. And like I said, you get a guy that can shoot the ball from the perimeter and make plays off the bounce and compete at a high level in defensive end. You got a chance.
Kyle?
Hey, Frank. Melo, especially early in the game, really seemed to have a lot of freedom on offense to attack specific matchups, post-up guys. I'm wondering, when the team is full, do you imagine Melo's going to still have some of that same license? Does his role change with other guys around?
Yeah, it'll change slightly, but we have confidence in him. We brought him here for a reason, and if he's attacking the right matchups, he's going to have the green light. He's going to help us in that regard too. But obviously, he'll be a floor spacer as well when the ball's in Russ and Bron's hands a lot. That's what we love about Melo is he's just got that versatility.
Thanks, Coach.
Good.
Thanks, Frank.
Yeah.
Frank, will you practice in Golden State?
On both sides of the court.
There's some, I think there's a lot of positives with that. It's different playing against them and then scouting against them as opposed to being on the court with them. Getting a feel for where he like the ball at, sets, how we can play together. A lot of times on the court, we're very interchangeable in that position. So just a feel for the game, something that we just got to get used to.
Frank mentioned that there's things have to tighten up, obviously, on both sides of the court. I just wondered if there's one thing or two things that you think that you guys
No, just overall. I mean, at this point in time in the season, at this point, it's just about figuring it out and getting the kinks out and trying to get everybody back on the court at one time. So different lineups now, different people, different style of play, with the personnel that's out there. So we're just getting through it, man. It's second preseason game, 2 weeks into week and a half, 2 weeks into training camp, preseason. So be all right to figure it out.
And then anything that you notice with LeBron and Russ out, things will be different, obviously, when they come back in. So how do you kind of play that whole game where, hey, here's the guys that are on the court, even if it might not be the same
You
unit?
just play basketball. You just play ball.
Yeah.
But you also want to keep in mind that the guys are not here. Some of the guys are not playing. So you don't want to try to do something that you don't need to do and do too much or overdo it. Because when they come back, you want to be right and you want to be in position to do what you do best.
How much time will you need with those guys in the preseason? Frank said,
Me personally?
Yeah, just like as a group, what do you think would be guys?
I don't know, man. These things don't happen overnight. Again, I thought we had a great training camp. I thought we had a great week and a half, 2 weeks. As far as the game goes, it is what it is. Some things that we have to work out, things we need to work on, we will work on. But once you get the group back intact, then you start seeing, what's going on, what's happening, what we need to get better at. There's some things now that we got to keep working on, getting better at, communication, being in the right position, being in the right spots. But that's just it's an effort thing, feel for each other, understanding what certain guys like to do out there.
Is it easier to, with the experience you have and some of the guys on this team have, to know that you guys can figure it out that there's time, you can figure this out as you go along, as opposed to it doesn't all need to be figured out in preseason.
Yeah, I mean, preseason is just to, get everybody back. This is the first time we played in a long time. We've only had our first preseason game, so haven't played since May, June, last year. So that's a long time not to play any real basketball games. Things happen, man. It's gonna come together. It's gonna be pretty when it do, but we just want to get guys back on the court, guys right. Preseason and work the things that we need to work.
AD was initiating the offense kind of early on, ball up before what was talking about pushing the pace and having to potentially be a ball handler at times. What does that kind of look give you guys when you have your center or power forward kind of initiate?
I think that's the beauty of having him at the 5. He can get off the board, he can push it, and he initiate the offense, early offense. That takes the big man, their big man away from the basket, spread the court out. He can shoot, he can drive, he can handle. So he gives us a different dynamic way at the 5.
Kyle? Is it Kyle?
Yes.
I was just wondering, I know obviously you've learned a lot of defenses from a lot of coaches over the years, but is there anything particularly complex about Coach Vogel's system? And obviously they've had a lot of success the last 2 years. Is there a learning curve part to it that you feel like the team is getting used to right now?
I think it's Coach Vogel's his schemes, the new defensive schemes that we want to put in, that we've been implementing. I think it's very, very simple. It's not hard. Lots of clarity. It's not a one-on-one defense that we're creating, that we're putting in. This is team defense. This is knowing your space, knowing your spots, knowing your regions, and that's going to take some time to kind of just get in sync, where we know where everybody's going to be at. We know rotations before it even happens. We're in the right position. So that's gonna take some time. Not too much time, but that's gonna get guys coming back together, playing actually in games, not just in practice, and us figuring that out.
Thanks, Carla.
Thank you.
Works out.
That's
It's an impressive water bottle can.
Gallon, baby.
There you go. Okay, Ken, just wondered with what your skill set is defensively, how important you see your role and where you're starting to sense that you fit in with Frank's scheme, and regardless of the teammates that are on the floor.
Just bringing the energy. It's been a lot going on as far as it's my 14 preseason. So new schemes, new identity, different personnel on the floor. We linked at the rim. Played a lot of small ball last year in Golden State. Similar in Sacramento, Portland, at White side at the rim, but you got DeAndre White and AD at the rim. So been a little bit more aggressive out in the perimeter and funneling guys to finish over that length all night. Being aggressive in the screens, fighting over, like I say, sending that guy down. So it's just it's small things that I'm gonna continue to work on. But I like I like the overall scheme. I like Coach Vogel's his vision on things, and historically since he's been here, they've been a really good defensive team. So it's just about buying in and figuring it out.
So assuming LeBron and Russ, when they start playing, they're bigger for their positions. So do you feel like even if you're small, AD in the back line, you can still be sort of big in a sense, as you accomplish both things?
For sure. I think that without speed and athleticism, I think turning defense into offense is probably something we're gonna hang our hat on, getting out and running. LeBron, AD, and Russ out and break. I'm gonna look to stretch the defense. By getting to the rim, getting to the corner, giving those guys some space to get into the lanes. Sorry, I just got out of the cold, so something was shifting. But nah, man, I'm looking forward to obviously first 2 preseason games, both lost, but I think it's something when you have so much promise, it just takes kind of forces you to be patient. Our practices have been great. The intensity's been there. It's just, that transition of carrying over is kind of what we're waiting.
Kent, well, has been made about the perimeter defenders who left this team in the offseason. But AD had a comment early in training camp where he said basically, because of the standard that's been set here defensively, even guys who are coming in who may not have been known as defenders throughout their careers will kind of buy in, kind of rise to the occasion because of where the standard is and what the defensive culture is here. Have you seen that in practices, and you expect kind of something to emerge from that as well?
Well, you gotta think, coming here, you have a chance to win an NBA championship. And at the end of the day, that, having that on your mind is going to allow you to, you're going to play harder. You're going to rotate harder. You're going to run harder. You're going to, do everything to the nth degree just to get that done. So, given a moment, a player said this in the meeting and it resonated with me. You could put the worst player, I think somebody was talking about Isaiah Thomas, and there's lack of defense, but there's, 3 seconds in the game and he's on the island. He's going to do everything he can to get a stop, and his teammates are going to be behind him as well. So that's kind of the mentality that, I have as a teammate. I trust in all my teammates. Whoever's on the ball can be the worst defender on the team. 5 seconds ago, you're in the ISO, you can do everything in your power to get a stop, and we will be behind you to help. So you got to do it by committee, because guys in the league are so talented these days. Like, it's not one person, it's not one wing defender, it's not big man playing one-on-one post defense. It's a collective effort, and having 4 or 5 guys on the screen can elevate 1 or 2 people. So that's kind of how you have to look at it. And, that's all a part of being a team.
Faith, how much time during camp have you gotten with Russ, LeBron, and AD on the court at the same time as you? And do you have a sense of how much time like that could occur in the regular season for you?
No, I mean, we got so many new players. I think it's 9 new guys, so it's been a lot of shuffling, reshuffling, just trying to figure out what works. And I think Coach Vogel's will use majority of the preseason, if not all of it, to figure it out. And we're all on board with that. We know it's a long season, and using 10, 11 guys is, I think, kind of what he's going to do throughout the year and kind of keep us healthy and fresh on playoff time. So, you just got to continue to, work at your strengths and figure out the schemes on both ends of the floor, and
he just walked out.
continue to, work on your craft. And, when your name's called, your name's called, but do the best you can.
How are you able to kind of evaluate these games when obviously you have such big pieces that aren't playing? I mean, just stylistically, it's going to probably look really different. I mean, at this point, the practice is probably more important.
Yeah. So when you got a guy like Russell Westbrook, whose intensity is just off the charts, and LeBron James is just a unicorn. Those guys are going to bring so much intensity and such a different swagger to the game for us. And we're going to feed off that. Right now we all just out there trying to figure it out. Young guys out there, trying to figure out how to make plays and play within the offense. We got a lot going on, but you have like those 2 staples, AD, Carmelo in the back. You got all these guys on the floor. Like, it's gonna give us such a different swagger. And, that stuff is real. Those guys have such a gravity. I play with Steph. I play with Dame. Those guys miss games. The teams are totally different. But when they're on the floor, everybody has this bouncing step, and I think that's what those guys are going to bring for us. And even like somebody like Dwight Howard, just energy he brings when he's out on the floor, like you can't just overlook that. So I'm looking forward to it, getting those guys out there and all of us figuring it out.
All right, this last question, James.
Hey, Bays, congratulations on your return to Los Angeles. Part 2 of your journey with the Lakers. Parades are always great downtown LA in June. Can you just talk about being back? Guys are trying to gel and again, win games.
Yes, this time around is my first time here. I got an amazing opportunity just to get out and play. The Lakers, the first time around, kind of wrapped up the season. So, just throwing guys out there, letting them have an opportunity. This time around, a lot more things at stake, and with where I'm at in my career, the timing is perfect. Entering my 10th season, and learned a lot throughout my journey, and here I am, with an amazing opportunity to win with some of the best players in the game. It's ironic how those things come full circle. To win a championship with LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Carmelo, DeAndre Jordan, Dwight Howard, Rajon Rondo. I mean, guys that have paved the way for so many others will be, a dream come true, and kind of ties together forever. So that'd be cool in 10, 15 years when Carmelo Anthony mentions your name to some kids. Like, a great teammate, something like, those are the small things that I think about and the things that I look forward to.
All right, thanks, everyone. Thanks, guys.
Good, I appreciate it. So good.